A sniper is forced to make an impossible decision: pull the trigger and save his team, or hesitate and watch them die. But when he looks through his scope, his target isn't a soldier, it's a child.
Don't pick it up. Don't you fucking pick it up.
The American convoy pushes forward through the dusty streets, tension hanging thick in the air. High above, a sniper and his spotter remain perfectly still, their eyes locked on every movement below. One wrong call could cost lives. A figure briefly steps onto a rooftop, but not long enough to justify a shot. Then everything shifts. A woman emerges from a nearby house, a young child at her side. The sniper's focus sharpens. The woman kneels, passing something to the boy, something small but deadly. It looks like a grenade. Time slows. The sniper hesitates, wrestling with the weight of the decision. But hesitation fades the second the child begins sprinting straight toward the soldiers. Years earlier, a young boy named Chris learns to shoot under his father's watchful eye. Out in the open fields, every lesson is precise, every movement calculated. His aim is exceptional, even at a young age, but his father teaches him something far more important than pulling a trigger. His father tells him there are three kinds of people in this world: sheep, wolves, and sheepdogs. The message sticks. As the boys grow older, life tests those lessons. When Chris's younger brother is beaten by bullies, Chris doesn't hesitate. He steps in and finishes what they started. Strength, loyalty, protection. It's all becoming part of who he is. Years pass and the boys embrace a rugged cowboy lifestyle, chasing freedom and simplicity. But that life cracks the day Chris walks in on his girlfriend cheating. Her excuse? He's never around. Something inside him shifts. Soon after, while watching the news devastating attacks on American embassies, Chris feels a pull he can't ignore. A purpose begins to form. Not long after, he's standing at a recruitment center, signing up to become a Navy SEAL. Training is brutal. Relentless drills, endless exhaustion, men pushed far beyond their limits. Only the strongest survive, and Chris proves he belongs. When it's over, he's no longer just a cowboy. He's a Navy SEAL. One night at a bar, Chris meets Taya, a sharp, confident woman who isn't easily impressed. He tries his charm, calling her beautiful, but when she finds out he's a SEAL, she pushes back hard. "I'd never marry someone like you," she says bluntly. "Too arrogant, too reckless." Chris almost walks away, but something changes. She softens just a little. He explains why he joined, not for glory, but to protect people. That honesty breaks through. They laugh, drink, and connect. By the end of the night, she's the one barely holding it together after too many shots. Back at training, Chris struggles with precision shooting drills. Ironically, he performs better when the target feels real, alive. One moment changes everything, when he instinctively fires at a moving animal and hits perfectly. "I shoot better when it's not just paper," he says calmly. That mindset defines him. As their relationship grows, so does the world's tension. News of another devastating attack shakes them both. Chris doesn't say much, but the look in his eyes says everything. He's ready for war. Not long after, Taya hints about marriage, and soon enough, they're standing together at the dock, exchanging vows. It's a quiet, powerful moment, but it doesn't last. Orders come in. Deployment. Taya tries to stay strong, but fear creeps in. Chris reassures her, promising he'll come back. Then he ships out. Back in the present, the child is still running toward the convoy. The sniper exhales slowly and pulls the trigger. The shot echoes. The child drops. The woman screams, grabs another explosive, and charges forward, but she doesn't make it far. Another shot, another life gone. The explosion detonates short of the convoy. The soldiers are safe, but the cost weighs heavily. Back at base, others call it a successful mission, a clean save, but Chris doesn't celebrate. Not this time. He never imagined his first kill out here would be a child. Still, the mission continues. From his overwatch position, Chris proves his value again and again, dropping threats before they reach his team. Fast-moving targets, hidden enemies, nothing escapes him. But war doesn't wait. One night, an insurgent ambushes a patrol, killing a soldier before disappearing into the shadows. The loss hits hard. At camp, the men begin calling Chris a legend, the best sniper they've got. He ignores it. During a quiet moment, he calls Taya. She's pregnant now, and her voice brings him peace, until she drops unexpected news. His younger brother has been deployed to the same war zone. Chris goes silent. At the next briefing, a new target emerges, Zarqawi, a high-value terrorist leader. Taking him down could change everything. Chris suggests joining ground operations, but his superior shuts it down immediately. Your job is up here, he's told. That's where you save lives. But Chris has other plans. The next day, he joins the team anyway. House-to-house raids begin. Doors kicked in, rooms cleared, tension everywhere. Eventually, they enter a house where a sheik and his family remain, refusing evacuation. After securing them, interrogation begins. The old man offers something valuable, information about a brutal enforcer known only as the Butcher. But there's a price, $100,000. Back at base, Command verifies the intel and prepares a follow-up mission. As they roll out, Taya calls with life-changing news. It's a boy. Chris lights up instantly, sharing the joy with his team, but the moment is shattered. A sniper round punches straight through the driver's helmet. Chaos erupts. The convoy spirals out of control as bullets tear through the air. Chris drops his phone mid-call, leaving Taya on the other end, listening to gunfire, screams, and silence. Pinned down, the team struggles to respond. The enemy sniper is too precise. Chris manages to reach a rooftop, but instead of relief, he's met by a chained attack dog lunging straight at him. Below, the situation gets worse. The Butcher arrives, dragging the sheik's family into the street. What happens next is horrifying. Chris watches, helpless, as the man makes an example out of them. Brutality beyond words. The message is clear. Anyone who helps the Americans will suffer the same fate. Chris wants to act, but the sniper keeps them pinned. There's nothing he can do. After the terrorists leave, Command shuts the operation down immediately. Too risky. Chris disagrees, but orders are orders. Weeks later, he returns home. Taya is there, waiting, and for a moment, everything feels normal again. Back home, life resumes, but not quite the same.
During a routine hospital visit, doctors check on Taya and the baby, but they also take a look at Chris. His blood pressure is dangerously high. He brushes it off like it's nothing, promising he'll deal with it later. On the drive home, his mind drifts back to the battlefield. He talks about the war, about how much more he could still do out there. Then suddenly, everything changes. Taya goes into labor. Chris spins the car around and races back to the hospital. Moments later, their son is born. A new life, a fresh start. But peace doesn't last long. Days later, Chris sits glued to the TV, watching war footage like he never left. Taya tries to joke, to pull him back into reality, but he's already gone. Mentally, he's still overseas. You have a family now, she reminds him. You're not just a soldier. But soon enough, he's deployed again. Before leaving, he sees his younger brother. The fear in his eyes is unmistakable. Chris knows exactly what he's going through, but there's nothing he can do to protect him from it. Back in Iraq, Chris is assigned to lead a mission targeting the Butcher. The team moves fast, clearing buildings one after another. When they question locals, no one talks. Fear has taken over. So they change tactics. Instead of leaving, they stay, watching, waiting. Eventually, they spot their target inside a nearby building. That's when things start to unravel. Inside another house, something feels off. Chris notices a small detail, a wound on a man's arm that doesn't add up. Trusting his instincts, he searches deeper and finds it, a hidden stash of weapons beneath the floor. The man is exposed. Chris gives him a choice, face trial or help them lure the Butcher out. He chooses survival. Moments later, the trap is set. The man approaches the target building, knocks, and the door opens. That's the signal. Gunfire erupts instantly. The team storms in, eliminating threats at the entrance. But inside, it's worse than they imagined. Bodies, torture, brutality everywhere. This isn't just war, it's horror. Suddenly, a figure bolts through the back, a tunnel escape. It's a trap, someone warns. Too late. Gunfire explodes from all directions. The team is surrounded. Chris picks off enemies one by one from Overwatch, buying them time, but more fighters keep coming. Then, a rocket slams into his position. The explosion tears through the rooftop, forcing him to reposition. In the chaos, the Butcher escapes, again. And somewhere nearby, the enemy sniper is watching. Back in the US, Chris tries to adjust, but even simple sounds, a drill, a loud bang, send him spiraling. For a split second, he's back in combat. A stranger approaches him one day, thanking him for saving his life overseas. The man invites him to visit wounded soldiers, men struggling to cope with what war did to them. Chris listens, but at home, things are falling apart. Taya barely recognizes him anymore. Even when he's sitting right next to her, he feels miles away. She pleads with him to come back, to be the man she married. But he doesn't respond. Instead, he leaves again. Another tour. The enemy sniper, Mustafa, is waiting. A ghost on the battlefield. Precise, patient, deadly. He begins dismantling Chris's team piece by piece. During one operation, a soldier beside their leader is dropped instantly. Chris fires back, but misses. Even he isn't perfect. Reinforcements arrive, but the damage is done. So the team escalates. This time, they roll in with tanks, overwhelming force. Buildings collapse, resistance crumbles. But war doesn't play fair. Inside one building, they walk straight into an ambush. Gunfire rains from every angle. One of their own, Mark, is hit. They're forced to retreat. Back home, Mark's funeral brings everything crashing down. Grief, regret, silence. On the drive back, Taya asks about a letter Mark wrote before the mission. Chris's answer is cold. He didn't die from the ambush. He died from how he handled it. That's not the man she knows. Later, at the hospital, the wounded soldier calls Chris the greatest sniper in American history. And when asked if he'll go back again, he says yes, without hesitation. That night, he asks Taya something chilling. What if I don't come back? He tells her to move on if that happens. She's devastated. To her, it sounds like he's already accepted death. She begs him to stop, to choose his family. But Chris believes this is his duty. And soon enough, he's back in Iraq, again. During one mission, a man steps out with a rocket launcher. Chris drops him instantly. But then, a child walks towards the weapon. Everything freezes. Chris tightens his grip, heart pounding. Not again. Don't pick it up, he whispers under his breath. Seconds feel like hours. Then, the boy lets go and runs away. Chris exhales, relief for once. But the war isn't done with him. At the next briefing, the focus shifts to Mustafa. Chris is certain it's him, the sniper who's been hunting them for years. Soon, they're back in position. And then, Mustafa strikes first. A soldier drops. Chris scans the distance and finds him, nearly a mile away. An impossible shot. Even his spotter says it can't be done. Command tells him to stand down. Chris ignores all of it. This isn't just another target. This is personal. He steadies his breathing, slows his heartbeat, and pulls the trigger. The bullet cuts through the air and hits. Mustafa drops, a legendary shot. But victory comes at a price. Their position is exposed. Within minutes, enemy forces swarm the building. Gunfire erupts from every direction. The team is trapped. Grenades start flying. Walls collapse. Ammo low. With no escape, they make a desperate call. Airstrike on their own position. Chris knows what that means. This could be the end. In the middle of the chaos, he calls Taya. I'm ready to come home, he says, voice shaking. Then, the missile hits. The call cuts off. Back home, Taya stares at her phone, frozen. Dust and fire consume everything. But somehow, the survivors make it out. And just before the helicopter lifts, Chris appears through the smoke, alive. He makes it home, but the war follows him. At home, he sits silently, lost in memories no one else can see. Even during conversations, he's distant. One day, when a dog plays too rough with his child, something snaps. He nearly loses control until Taya pulls him back. That's when it becomes undeniable. He's not okay. A doctor later tells him he's killed over 160 men. Do you regret it? He asks. Chris shakes his head. The ones I couldn't save, that's what haunts me. Then something changes. He meets wounded veterans, men broken in ways bullets can't show, missing limbs, lost purpose. And for the first time, he finds a new mission, helping them. Slowly, he begins to heal. He reconnects with his family. The man Taya fell in love with starts to return. Peace, finally. But it doesn't last. One day, while helping a troubled veteran at a shooting range, the unthinkable happens. The man turns the gun on Chris and pulls the trigger. Just like that, the legend is gone. Chris Kyle, one of the deadliest snipers in American history, dies not on the battlefield, but at home. His story is a powerful reminder. For many soldiers, the real war begins after they come back. The scars don't fade, they stay. So what do you think? Did the movie truly capture the psychological cost of war? Did Chris's struggle feel real to you? Let me know in the comments. And if you want another intense recap, check out the next video on your screen. I'll see you there.